smoke show. That smoking detector is supplied by the RAF, probably 3 hours. And then you've got the white I'm trying to persuade them to get the red there as well. It's on Pendine, the fastest full-wheel route. So he now, on Pendine, owns 2 records, one on 2 wheels and one on 4 wheels of over 200 miles an hour. And when you get to know that, he's just like you and me, he's very good for everything. And you can't, do that.
Right, ladies and gents, that's Zef Eisenberg's jet bike. We're now going to have a short interview. That was the show, now we're going to have a tell.
Yeah. Incidentally, I've got to say this. We run this at home on the 35 mile an hour speed limit, and it is road legal.
Yeah, all of Zef's bikes and machines are road legal, is that right, Zef?
Oh, of course.
No, they are really, aren't they? They're road registered.
Well, there's no point building a world record bike unless it's road legal. You need to go to the shops with it, buy the milk and the newspaper.
Exactly. That's what bikes are for.
Yeah.
So, tell the ladies and gents here a little bit about the bike and about you and how Mad Max came to be, and what crazy idea you had about putting a jet turbine in a motorbike.
Well, this is the Rolls-Royce C20B turbine from the Augusta Y9 helicopter. That's that luxury 6-seater helicopter that takes you up in the sky. Well, obviously it shouldn't be there, it should be in a motorbike. So this took us quite some time, quite a lot of years to take this amount of power. It comes out the factory at 420 horsepower from Rolls-Royce, but that's not that much power, so we took it to 560 horsepower by putting a water methanol injection system on. So those canisters on the side you can see there, they allow us to put a litre every 10 seconds into the inlet. That cools the blades down and allows us to put more fuel in, hence obviously make more power without the blades melting. These jet turbines, they're very, very sensitive. If you over temp the engine, it will actually produce molten blades out of the exhaust in about 3 seconds. So this bike obviously has got about 30 sensors on it, controlling everything from oil pressure, temperatures, inlet pressures, everything. And if the ECU senses anything out of sync, within 100th of a second it will shut down the fuel solenoid, protecting obviously me and the bike. A lot of people think, well, isn't it a bit dangerous, Zef, with you sitting over a 50,000 RPM jet turbine, which is true, it's true. So this tank here is actually homemade from us. It's a carbon Kevlar tank, ballistic proof. We took it down to the shooting range in Guernsey and fired 38s in it to see if it would go through. It didn't go through. So that, yeah, is, God forbid the turbine, decides to disintegrate, that will protect my groin area, which it needs to work still. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant! Thank you, Zef. And so, remind us what you do with this bike. So you've got a lot of straight line world records.
Yeah, this is the world's fastest turbine bike, 234 miles an hour. The fastest street fighter. So I did 233 miles an hour with upright bars and no fairing on that. That took about 3 years of gym work, did actually. There's about 80 kilograms of force on your neck, and it's quite interesting getting to that speed. It took a few years to get the strength to do that. At about 220 miles an hour, that was in the early days, I'd go along, and I remember doing 220, and I got a massive sharp pain in my neck, like someone had stabbed me. I sort of immediately slowed down, came back, went to my crew, and I said, I think some idiot has left a needle in the leathers, who's maybe, done some thread work. They checked, couldn't find anything at all. Went back out again, 220, like stopping for it again, stopped. What I realised was that my disc kept popping out of the vertebra, right? Out our speakers, 80 kilograms. So after that I thought, that's not very good, what do we do next? So I got a climbing harness, strapped it round here, put a dynamic Kevlar rope through my helmet and strapped it to my groin, right? I thought that's a good way to stop your head snapping off. Then I put a one of those sort of like karting braces round, and then yeah, 234, here we come, without the head snapping off. So that's how we managed to achieve that. So at the moment it's also Britain's fastest naked bikes out of any bike out there, Hayabusas, this, anything, fastest in a proper official two-way record. It's the Guinness World Records on that. And yeah, fully road legal, as you can see. That is the actual number plate. In Guernsey, we don't need letters, so that 747 is actually the number plate of the bike in Guernsey. It's got headlights, high-low beam, indicators. It's a nice little vehicle to go and buy the newspaper and the paper on a Sunday.
Brilliant, thank you very much. Tell us a little bit how, I can see it's chain drive. How do you get a jet engine to drive a chain and to get some power down? And what are the challenges about getting the power down? You don't just dump the clutch and pray, do you?
Okay, so I'm going to try and sort of simplify this to people that are not experts on jet turbines. This is a power turbine system, which means that the front of the turbine is not connected to the rear. It's coupled with like an air coupler, a bit like a torque converter. You use oil to sort of transmit the power when it gets to a certain speed. It's the same with this. Effectively, imagine a kind of a fan, and you blow the fan and it turns around. That's exactly what's happening here. The front part of the turbine creates that big blue thrust flame that we all know with the thrust turbine. That blows onto the power turbine wheel, which then turns this proprietary gearbox. All the gearbox is effectively a one-to-one bevel gear, which goes to the small sprocket, like on a conventional bike, with a rear sprocket on there. And that allows us to transmit, obviously drive in a conventional way and make it road legal, because obviously no blue thrust flames and fire and everything else that wouldn't go down too well. It's got, but you might not notice, it has no gear pedal because it has one gear. It has 1,000 pound-foot of torque at the rear wheel. It's got 0 to 250 gearing on it. You do not need any gears at all. So when at the start line, what I'll do is I'll actually sort of operate the bike just like you would if you're on a plane to sort of Spain or somewhere. You'll be at the start line. What you'll see with the pilot is he'll put the brakes on the wheels. He'll load up the N1. That's when you hear the turbine spool up faster and faster and faster. When you get to that 100% N1 power on the turbines, he'll release the brakes, shoot forward, and obviously take off. My job is not to take off, but to go fast, obviously. And so I can do that. You probably still see on the back here, we've got a 12-pot caliper on a 320mm disc. That's because that directly brakes the power turbine wheel, goes directly to the power turbine wheel. So the problem with a turbine bike is it has no engine braking. At idle, it's 180 horsepower. So I ride the hill with the brakes on. The whole Prescott Hill climb I'll do with the brakes on. Coming round here, that was done with the rear brake on the whole time. If I put the front brake on, it will drag the front wheel continuously, even with the front brake on. So it takes a little bit of getting used to. The acceleration is a little bit strange. It's like having the world's biggest turbo. Everything's about 1.5 seconds. So you sort of floor it, nothing happens. 1.5 seconds later, your arms are ripped off, literally. And the same thing when you slow down. When you slow down, it's got 180 horsepower pushing you forward. There is no engine braking. So stopping becomes a major issue, which is something I'm quite well known for, which is having the fastest motorbike crash to survive from. Yeah.
Thank you. So you can't, when it goes wrong or you can't get it to start in the morning, it's not just a case of looking on eBay, is it, and or popping out to the garden to raid a spare helicopter?
No, yeah, fortunately I've done all my Rolls-Royce training, so I'm a sort of certified C20B technician. So obviously we've got a few of these turbines and we'll strip them down, service them. We all use OEM parts, And you can appreciate when you turn up to Rolls-Royce in the early days and you go, hello, I've got a turbine in a bike, they look at you like you lost the marbles completely. Then after obviously you've ticked all the boxes with all the proper training, OEM parts, everything else, they relax a little bit more, so yeah.
Brilliant, Zef. Well, thanks very much for your time today. I've got nothing else to add unless anyone's got any burning questions they want to shout out of the crowd, because this is a fantastic piece of engineering and it's great to see you here today. Thanks for making the trip over.
Thank you very much. Hopefully when the weather dries up a little bit, we'll take it up the hill. I think you can probably appreciate with this level of torque, it's not the best, safest thing up the hill. But we'll hope you start up a few more times later.
Has it ever gone bang when you've been running it?
No. I mean, to be fair, we look after this literally with our life, because my life depends upon it. You know, we will do inspections on it, we'll do bore scopes on it, we'll do everything. Anything at all, any vibration that's out of sync, we'll literally strip the engine down and change it. You just, with these engines, you absolutely cannot let anything go wrong at all. Yeah, health and safety is critical on this thing, yeah.
And I forgot to mention earlier, this is not the only toy in your toy box. Can you elaborate on what else you've got here today, and also what else is in the pipeline?
Well, we've got in the paddocks down the bottom there, we've got an actual Kawasaki Race H2R, but again, what's the point of a Race H2R if you can't put on the road? So we've made the only official road legal H2R. So that's actually got road indicators, lights, fans, number plate, the whole works on it. It's a little bit aggressive, 320 horsepower, bit too short the wheelbase. Not the friendliest thing up the hill. I took up the hill earlier on. It doesn't like to be going so slow, likes long sweeping tracks. But by all means come down and have a look at that, because that is quite fun, because in the next few months it'll be changed into a proper street fighter. Upright bars, everything else, and do something a bit more fun with it, I think. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks for your time today, Zef. Ladies and gents, Zef Eisenberg, please show your appreciation for him.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So next up, ladies and gents, don't go away, please brave the rain. Skin's waterproof. So next up we've got Tom Bagnall and his jet kart. And Tom, I think we're going to be doing a...
Blimey, look at that back tyre. H2R. Got a helicopter jet turbine in it.